Whoa!
Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts Javier Ortiz,
What is up, my nerds?
and Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
We appreciate your help growing the podcast. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, bell notification button so you never miss a spoiler-free episode. Go check out our website, whatsourverdict.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive content and updates, pick up some merch, and interact with us. The question we always ask, if you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie, to help with that question, each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. Today we're reviewing King Richard. It was released November 19th, 2021. It was written by Zach Braylon. It was directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green. It stars Will Smith, Sanaya Sidney, Demi Singleton, Angelou Ellis, John Barenthal, and Tony Goldwyn. A look at how tennis superstars Venus and Serena Williams became who they are after coaching from their father, Richard Williams. This is our spoiler-free review, where we'll rate this movie on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should find a way to watch this movie as soon as possible. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch it for free. And finally, not impressed, meaning you shouldn't watch this movie at all. You can listen to our deep dive review on this movie Monday, November 29th, wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's dive in. Javier, why don't you kick us off? Spoiler-free, King Richard. Go.
This was a good movie. Honestly, like, I haven't seen Will Smith in something in forever.
I think it was
and then
Gemini Man, right?
Yeah, okay, maybe I should rephrase that. I haven't seen Will Smith in something good in forever. So this was good. And then you have what's the dude's name? Jeez, I forget every time. The Punisher dude?
John Barenthal.
John Barenthal, yeah. So those two together were great. And John Barenthal plays a different character than he normally plays. Like, normally he's like the cool, tough guy. He was not cool or tough. This movie.
Yeah.
It was good, and those little actresses that they found, again, dude, right out of that awesome child actor factory that we have now, they did great. Okay, so I'm gonna say worth it. It was a good movie.
Cool. Ian.
Yeah, I thought this one was it was an interesting one. It was definitely kind of a different take on these movies, because usually you would follow like Venus or Serena in the movie, so it was kind of interesting to follow their father. To tell that story, like a different lens to look through. I'm gonna say worth it as well. I almost went for stream it, but I think that was for the convenience of watching it on HBO Max on a holiday weekend. But it's still a good one. Worth it, definitely.
Nice. Cooking right through King Richard.
I should have taken more time, huh?
No, you're fine. Short spoiler frees are good. I'm gonna be the kind of outside looking in. This movie was long, fellas.
It was long.
There were some parts of this movie that I didn't need to still get the feeling and the emotion and the storyline that you get from this movie. I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie. It's not. It's really good. And when they do it right, they do it really right. And the girls, like you said, that played Venus and Serena, even the other 3 sisters, are fantastic. Like, it was interesting to watch the 5 sisters, but specifically the girl that plays Venus she was in a TV show that I can't remember the name of recently, that I kept, Casey and I were like, I don't remember who she is, but we recognized her. But yeah, Sanaya Sidney, man, she was really good. And so I was really intrigued by those little actresses. Will Smith always does a great job. But yeah, I wasn't as like overwhelmed with this movie. There were parts that I was, but as a whole, I felt like there was a lot of bloat to this movie. Like,
I feel like that's how these like historical dramas are, though. Like, when they're recounting stories, there's always so much bloat. It's like there's such slow parts of it.
Sure, and biopics can always be overdone because they feel like they need to add in all the details that impacted their lives. But I think this one did it worse than others because, like, there were the parts where, and I don't want to get too deep because it is a spoiler free, but there's a lot of stuff that happens to Richard based on the neighborhood that they live in, that it happens over and over again in this movie. And I'm like, look, I get it. Like,
yeah, you could have just said, you live in Compton and we would have got it.
Yeah, or have the first scene at the tennis courts that they show, and then we can be done with that and understand that there's a really gnarly element. You know what I mean? That first sequence, but they went back to it 2 more times, and I'm like, geez, I don't need to know. I understand that this is shitty. So
and like that's not even the reason that he gives that he wants to. The reason why he wants to like have his children be successful. Well, they really like hammer that home because he's like, we're poor.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I get that, right? Like we're poor and we live in this like shitty neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get that. That was
and I think that was my biggest issue, but it really just, to me, the movie drug on in the front end to get really good in the back end. And there were some other things that I can't talk about without being in the deep dive, but we'll talk about those too. I'm not going to give it a worth it. I am going to give it a stream it. I say that because I would have been disappointed if I'd gone to the theaters to watch this movie. This is a movie that to me is perfectly fine to sit on my couch and watch. I don't need to get in my car, drive to the movie theater, buy some food, and sit and watch this movie. I get the same thing sitting on my couch. So that's where, for this one, it's a stream.
That's a good point.
That's fair. To be fair, you said a worth it is watch this movie as soon as you can. And technically, you'd be able to watch it sooner by streaming it than by going to the theater.
For sure. And this one is it's a tough conundrum, these ones that are released day and date on. But I try to think of it as, and this, I don't know, maybe we should have quantified this before we started. But how are you going to know that the pandemic's going to give you so many movies streaming automatically at home? But like, I think about it as, if it wasn't available to me streaming right now, would it be worth it for me to go to a movie, or would I be willing to wait 3 to 6 months for it to hit the streamer?
Man, I need to come up with my definition, because Ian's like, would I recommend it to a friend? And you're like, would I drive to the theater? And I'm like, did I get bored in it or not?
Yeah, I was going to say, I might be questioning my rating process now.
Well, and I didn't mean to set
control.
Well, and definitely not trying to do that, because I don't think the other thing is, and this is neither here nor there when it comes to the movie, but I think it's a great thing that we all have our own criteria that we decide on, stream it, worth it, and not impressed, because when people watch us, they can find ways that they relate to one or the other, or a couple of us or all of us, and that's how they decide whether or not they're going to watch these movies. And so for me, that's important, that it's different, Javier, it's, did I get bored or not? No, it's worth it. You know what I mean? Is like, would I recommend it? Yeah, it's Alec is, would I tell my grandma to go watch this movie, or would I watch it with my grandma, or whatever the hell it is, and for me, it's, that's for me. Would I get off my ass, leave my nice cozy house, get in my car, drive to a movie theater to watch this movie? So, but yeah, I'm okay streaming this one. So that's where I would have waited, or would have been okay waiting.
One thing about this movie that I meant to say too is, I feel like this is one that once you finish watching, it wants to drive you to learn the actual story. And I think it'll be interesting to talk about that in the deep dive. I won't go into any of this, but I started Googling and trying to find out what's real, what's not. So it'll be kind of interesting to talk about that stuff too.
Yeah. You know what it doesn't do though? It doesn't drive me to want to learn the game of tennis. No interest still.
Agreed.
Don't care about tennis still.
I actually enjoy tennis. It's one of those games that I didn't like and I could never play. Those people are fucking athletes. I'm a pretty athletic dude. I dicked around on a tennis court one time with a friend of mine that knows how to play tennis. I played for 10 minutes. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I feel like it's like running suicides with a racket and a ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's running suicides with hand-eye coordination, which I don't have.
Yeah. So. When you're having to think strategically, not only that, but you're running suicides with a racket, hitting a ball, but you have to think about, where am I going to hit this ball this time, based on the last 3 times I've hit
Oh,
this ball.
yeah. No, that's not
Like-
how I ever play tennis. If
Yeah,
I
like-
got it over the net, I'm like, sick.
Me too. But yeah, that's not how they think. Like they're thinking, okay, I've hit it 3 times to the left. I need to act like I'm going to hit it to the left and go right, so that
Yeah.
I get
Little game of chess.
over. It's ridiculous. I was never a big tennis
chess
fan
and
until I worked with
suicides.
a girl. Yeah,
Still not interested in the sport. I can respect it. I'm just not interested in learning anything about it.
my problem is the score. I never wanted to watch it because the way they keep score and like the tiebreakers and the way that whole scoring and how you win.
Yeah.
And,
Like how many sets?
sets
What's a
and
love all
matches.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like I was so confused by it that I had no desire. And then I worked with a girl that loved tennis, like was obsessed with tennis. Couldn't play herself, but loved watching tennis, and she explained it to me, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." But I don't want to watch it for 4 hours in one match. Like the matches go so long. I was like, "Damn, I don't know how these people do that." They're ridiculous athletes, tennis players, but yeah, not my sport. Like I don't actually reach out and go, "Let's watch tennis."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Though there have been some epic tennis matches, like when Federer and Nadal were playing. Yeah, those were some fun matches to watch. Those guys were good. And then Serena and Venus, they have a match against each other
hmm
that was insane. Some like 6 or 7 hours long or some shit, and they just were going at it. It was crazy. But I can't imagine watching over and over and over that much of that sport. Like it's too much. Anyway. Sweet. Well, yeah, there's our spoiler free for King Richard. Yeah. Go check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. We're active on all 3, so love to have that conversation. Check out our website, whatsourverdict.com. We have you can find what we're doing next coming up in the future. You can find out about us. You can listen to all of our episodes there. Speaking of, there will not be spoiler frees for the next 2 weeks. We're kind of changing up doing some Christmas movies for Christmas time.
Here's your spoiler free. Don't watch them. They're terrible. Not worth it.
There we go. Yeah. If you like contentious episodes of the What's Our Verdict podcast, the next 2 deep dives after this
If you
might be the way to
if
go.
you like episodes where Javier tells you the hard truth and JJ tries to defend ridiculous traditions, you should definitely tune in.
Yeah. Or if you like hearing JJ explain to Javier good cinema, that's another one.
I would love to see some good cinema because those movies were not it.
Dude, we've watched a lot of good cinema that you shit on over the past 2 years.
Dude, The Town is average.
Yeah.
It's average cinema.
Exactly. You ruin your credibility just from that one right there.
Dude, I'm sure if we go back, you don't like The Warrior. You ruined your own credibility. That's a great movie. That's a American classic, as you like to put it.
Please. And I never said that either of these movies were American classics.
Oh, I'm sorry, Christmas classics.
There you go. Anyway, we're
Yeah,
doing some
I'm just
Christmas
gonna sit and
movies
eat popcorn.
weeks. Yeah. Oh, shit. Should be fun. Yeah, but we will pick up with spoiler freeze again when we start in on Spider-Man, and then we'll have quite a few coming down the pike after that. But we're gonna take a couple weeks with Christmas, do some Christmas movies. So check us out on our deep dives. You can find those wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. Yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!